You know what? I think the series worked best whenever this guy right here is on the scene. Okay, this review is going to contain spoilers. If you don't want to hear spoilers, you know what I'm saying, you can go and get out of here right now. Check the episode, come back and check out my review. This episode starts off with Vader chasing down a transport ship. They're trying to escape, and they're doing this weird zigzaggy thing in the air from the Death Star, which seemed a little silly to me straight off the back. And I was like, yo, all right, this is a big ass Death Star. I know I might not be the best Star Wars aficionado, but I'm like, where the fuck are the TIE fighters? You know, usually the TIE fighters come out of the Death Star and they attack other ships surrounding the Death Star. That's what it's all for. And let's get into the meat and potatoes. Why are we all straight in here? Obi-Wan leaves the ship. He goes to a distant planet to distract the Death Star from firing on the ship. I don't see how that's possible. It seemed like the Death Star would have followed that ship. But anyway, they follow Obi-Wan, but Vader's the only one on that planet. It seems like it's not a bunch of stormtroopers. When this fight go down, it's just Vader and Obi-Wan. So where did the rest of the Empire go? Did they chase the ship? If that's the case, the ship would have blown up. But anyway, the showdown of showdowns is about to go down. You see Vader, you know, in an all silhouette on this planet, and you see the moonlight in the back. He walks up. Obi-Wan, have you come here to destroy me? Let me just say how fire this looks. Yo, get your screen captures and wallpapers ready, because this some shit you need to put up on your wall, you know what I'm saying, for not even fan art, you know what I'm saying. It's just that dope looking. It's like, have you come to destroy me? You know, Obi-Wan said, I will do what I must. And then the battle ensues. Vader with one hand dominating, you know what I'm saying, with the dark side of the Force. Love seeing Darth Vader. This is visually impressive. And it's shot well too, but I do have a gripe about the fight too. Sometimes the camera was like behind a mountain. You can see him from a distance. It's like, oh, yo, that's not a good shot. Let's get back up into the action. But overall, I think Deborah Chow did a good job in this sequence. I think this sequence is spectacular. You know, there is a lot of things to use the Force with, like rocks. I love when Vader threw the rock and swept Obi-Wan Kenobi and he fell down, and then he used that fucking earthquake, force quake to shake the ground, and Obi-Wan fell into the hole. This episode has some super highs in me, like some shit I just couldn't believe I was watching in the Star Wars universe to now. To see you know, the rise of Anakin Skywalker and the fall of Anakin Skywalker, and to see this full thing, which is Vader, Darth Vader, you know what I'm saying, fighting his old friend Obi-Wan Kenobi. Now, I want to go back to the last episode because they showed a flashback of the prequels of Hayden Christensen and Obi-Wan Ian McGregor fighting. I thought that was a very, very powerful sequence, and I thought they would have tied it more into this episode, but it kind of didn't go there. And that's why I think this series would have worked better as a movie, because I think the most important, the most interesting thing in this show is Darth Vader himself. The whole series of Star Wars is really, if you think about, is about Anakin Skywalker, this tragic villain. And was there any good left in Vader? But I wish they would have showed this a little bit more in this episode, or at least have Obi-Wan try to turn him to the light side, at least say something about it, you know, like, you were once my friend and you should turn to the light side, at least try. We know where it's ending up. So I love when Obi-Wan threw the rock at Vader and he caught it like this, you know, and he said, you know, yeah, I see your powers are returning, but you're still all weak. And let's give a quick shout out to James Earl Jones' voice. One thing you might not know, that yes, this is James Earl Jones' voice, but Hayden Christensen is performing all the dialogue for James Earl Jones. It's a program called Respeecher. They took James Earl Jones's voice and reprogrammed it into this program called Respeecher, and it trained his voice to sound like Darth Vader, but it's really his voice, but it's modulated, because I think, you know, of course, James Earl Jones is about like 91 years old, so he doesn't sound as powerful as he once did. You can tell that in Rogue One. I think that was his actual voice, but with Respeecher, it trained a whole new voice using Anakin voices at the same time. So now let's get to the voice. It's a part in the series, I guess, when Vader throws all the rocks on Obi-Wan like this, you know, and he's struggling, he's using the Force not to be crushed to death like that, and then he thinks of Leia and Luke a little bit. I see that, but this part wasn't that emotionally impactful for me. I just don't know why. It's something about in this series too, and I don't think these children work. I don't think Princess Leia works to the level that they want the audience to believe in. You know, like she was a little smart ass the whole time. She knew everything, but like it was just really hard to get behind Princess Leia, even though I know who she is. I believe her more in New Hope, and Luke didn't really have that much to do. And speaking of side plots, the third sister here, I'm sorry, her storyline just doesn't work, and it's not really that interesting. I called what was gonna happen to her with the younglings in my first review on episode 3, what I did, but her character, she just wasn't interesting to the stories. That's why I say you just need a movie with this and focus on Anakin and Darth Vader, you know what I'm saying? Trying to mend that relationship a little bit and have them fight. This movie could have been just like an hour 20, you know? I think it would have came together as better narrative storytelling, you know what I'm saying, if this was just a big tiger. Because I do like things in this series, and there's some things that I just absolutely don't like. Episode 4, when the third sister was talking to Princess Leia, I thought that was atrocious. I mean, not just the acting, I mean the dialogue, the whole setup was just bad. And that's actually a bad episode. Episode 5 gets better with the flashbacks, but we still go back with some stuff with the third sister. At least she fought Vader. I thought that was a cool little fight, you know what I'm saying, to see Vader doing his John Wick, you know, Tai Chi type thing. I thought that was dope. I still think my favorite episode as a whole is still episode 3, but episode 6 here, when Obi-Wan, you know, got the Super Saiyan power and lifted up all the rocks, like, damn, I didn't know he was that powerful. Like, if he that powerful, why you need a Luke Skywalker, you know, and start throwing the rocks at Vader, do. I thought that was kind of cool. And then Obi-Wan hits his turn and slashes Vader's helmet, and then we see Hayden Christensen with the half Darth Vader facing the half Hayden Christensen, and he starts talking. I thought that was super fucking cool, because that voice modulator thing going in between Obi-Wan and Anakin Skywalker was it. Yeah, and you can hear Anakin, so like it might be a glimpse of hope in there. So I was hoping Obi-Wan said, I wish they would have went back like we were once cool, homie. Now you want to change on me? It was all good just a week ago. The awesome performance by Ewan McGregor. This one got me choked up. You know, when he was busting out of tears, I was like, oh man, that's got me. I am sorry, Anakin. I was like, oh man, this shit is getting me, son. Like, this is so tragic. Vader is such a tragic villain. And then Vader comes back with the word, like, what did he say? I don't know if I'm gonna say it verbatim, but he was like, you didn't kill Anakin. I did. I was like, fuck, that was powerful. That was powerful, and that was true Vader. He was all Sith at that point. And then Ewan McGregor's like, well, my friend truly is gone. So long, Darth. And then after it's all said and done, after smoke clears, we get our final shot of Vader on Mustafar, still pissed, want to go at Obi-Wan. Emperor come all cool, you know, on the hologram, like, yo, yeah, you seem really obsessed with this dude, my guy. Why don't you calm down a little bit, you know what I'm saying? Fuck that dude, and let's go rule the galaxy together. Basically, like, oh, you're right. I serve only you. And then we get the Imperial March. We could have used that shit way earlier, in my opinion. Like, why did you use it there? You know what I'm saying? It wasn't that impactful. Vader just got hold, son. His whole life got hold again. Vader is a loser. Darth Vader is a loser. He loses at just about everything, you know what I'm saying? From, losing his family, you know, the Death Star, taking an L to Obi-Wan twice now, you know? And I guess kind of, he takes an L again to Obi-Wan in A New Hope, technically, if you want to put it like that. So he's just a tragic character, sad character, and he's sad, but he's one of my favorite villains because his character is so complex, and I think Darth Vader and Ewan McGregor as Obi-Wan worked the best in this show. I wish all that other side shit was kind of cut out of the film. If it was, it should have been very, very minimal, small parts. I think focusing too much on Princess Leia bogged the showdown. I think all that shit with the third sister bogged the showdown. The Inquisitor, which really did, the other Grand Inquisitor who really did nothing, why was he here? You know what I'm saying? Just for fan service. They could have had a tighter presentation for this show, but overall, as the show is up, it's down. But if I was to give it a score, I'm gonna give Obi-Wan, man, I still give it a 3.7 out of 5, because when it was high, it was some of the best shit in all of Star Wars lore. But when it was low, it was just low, and it didn't grasp me. Like the first and second episode, I thought were okay, you know. And then I didn't really start coming alive to the third episode. Then it fell off on the fourth, brought it back kind of on the fifth, and then tried to send it off with a grand finale at the end, which I loved. Last thing I would want to say, it would have worked better if it was a movie. Even if it was just for Disney Plus, it would be something more memorable if we just had one cohesive story that was about Anakin and Obi-Wan and Vader in between. I think that's the story there. That's the real story there. Once again, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. And if you like this video, you know the deal. Go ahead and hit me that like button. If you really like this content, consider becoming a part of the Q Review family. And I ain't killed Q Reviews. You did.
Don't just stare at it. Eat it. I'm out cold, you hoes been exposed. Walk up on you slow with the flow and unload. You got more left for dead on the road. I strode when your car got